Hi, everyone, and welcome to A+ English. I'm Joe.
And I'm Winnie.
Now, yesterday we were talking about Anne of Green Gables. We just got started with our story, and we talked about Marilla and her brother Matthew, and they were very old. They were getting too old to work, so they needed someone to help them on the farm.
So they decided to adopt a boy to help them. How was the boy?
Well, that was the problem. They didn't get a boy. They were supposed to be sent a boy. They wrote to an orphanage and they asked for a boy.
Yeah.
The orphanage sent a child, but the child was a girl. So that was the problem, and we were just going to find out how they were going to deal with that.
Right, but there was only a girl named Anne. But what's wrong with a girl? We discussed about this. Girls can help the family as well.
Yeah, girls do a lot of important work on the farm, but as we said yesterday, this was a long time ago, and they had a lot of ideas about men should do this, men should work the farm, they should be outside doing all the physical hard work. And the women should be in the home cooking and cleaning and raising children and all of that kind of stuff.
All right. So will they keep Anne or they have to send her back?
Well, let's read through day 2 of our article today and find out.
Welcome to Green Gables, Anne.
At first, Marilla wanted to send Anne back to the orphanage. However, after a few days, they decided to let her stay. Anne talked too much and told crazy stories, but she worked hard and learned quickly. She also couldn't wait to go to school and make friends. Sadly, Anne's first day at school was terrible. She never went to school before, so she didn't know the rules. The teacher scolded her for speaking without raising her hand. The smartest boy in the class, Gilbert, teased her for answering incorrectly. After that, Anne promised herself,
I will be the best student. Matthew and Marilla will be proud.
Word power!
Terrible. Terrible. Maria has a terrible cold. Maria has a terrible cold. Raise. 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 Raised. Raised. The police officer raised her gun when she heard a strange noise. The police officer raised her gun when she heard a strange noise. Promise. 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 Promised. Promised. I promise not to tell anyone your secret. I promise not to tell anyone your secret. Proud. Proud. I'm proud to have such a cool mom. I'm proud to have such a cool mom.
The article starts off today by saying, at first, Marilla wanted to send Anne back to the orphanage. So when we say at first, it just means when we are starting or beginning something, or when we're talking about the first feelings we're having about a certain situation. So Marilla saw Anne, and right away she said, no, we have to send Anne back to the orphanage, back to the place where the children live who don't have parents.
昨天提到 Matthew 在车站接到 Anne 啦，就已经知道送错了，不过还是得先带他回家嘛。一开始 at first Marilla 也说，是不是该送他回到孤儿院呢？Oh, poor Anne, that's going to break her heart.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, imagine you don't have any parents and then finally it seems like you have a family and they send you back like you're a Christmas present that somebody doesn't want, like grandma made you a sweater and you don't like it and you say, oh, thanks, grandma, but I'm going to send this
back.
I'm going to send this back. I want something else. But this is a person. This is a little girl. Okay, let's see what's going to happen next. Is she going to get sent back? No, it says, however, after a few days, they decided to let her stay. It seems it's almost like they got a puppy or something, and they were saying, well, let's see how it works out.
Let's keep it for a while.
Let's keep it for a few days and see if the puppy behaves itself, and maybe we'll keep it. We'll decide later, but they decided to keep Anne.
还好，几天后他们还是决定让她留下来了啦。
So what did they think of Anne? What did they think about this little girl who had unexpectedly come into their lives? It says Anne talked too much and told crazy stories, but she worked hard and learned quickly. Now, this is another one of those things that tells us that this is a long time ago when they had thoughts about children, too. Okay, remember they had thoughts about men. Men did the physical work.
Yeah.
They had thoughts about women. Women stayed in the home. Children... Back then, there's an old saying that says, a child should be seen and not heard.
What does that mean?
It means children should be quiet. Basically, it means children should not talk. And this goes back to as recently as my grandparents' generation. My grandpa said the same thing. He said, a child should be seen and not heard. So it means that kids should just basically... shut up and be quiet.
So they don't like Anne, that's what it is.
They don't like Anne too much. She talked a lot. She told crazy stories. So
that sounds scary.
No, it sounds kind of cute, actually. But it says she worked hard and learned quickly. So I guess they could take it. They could accept her because she was a hard worker and she learned. She was very smart.
不管怎样啦，他很认真的工作，而且也学得很快。Work hard 在这边 hard 是副词，形容动词 work 意思是认真的。这也是今天的 Magic Box. Let's check it out.
Magic Box 找亮点。
Hello, this is Celine. 大家准备好跟我一起找亮点了吗？我想大家都知道形容词加上 ly 会变成副词这个规则，像是 easy 就会变成 easily， loud 加 ly 就会变成 loudly， slow 就变成 slowly。但是所有的形容词都是这样子变成副词吗？那可不一定哦。今天我们要来看看那些比较不合群的形容词，它们完全不需要加 ly 就可以变成副词，意思也不会改变。那我们一起来看看有哪些吧。第一个是 hard， 努力的。努力我们可以说 hard work， 例如我们要谢谢别人的努力，我们就可以说 Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your hard work. 这边是当形容词用。但是如果我们要说我很努力在做耶，我们要修饰做这个动词，那我们就要用上副词啦。I worked really hard. I worked really hard. 这里就是当做副词使用。但是我有加 ly 吗？没有，对吧？这边千万不可以加上 ly， 因为 hardly 意思是完全不一样的哦。加 ly 以后，它的意思是几乎不怎么样。所以大家了解重点了吗？这些不合群的副词啊，其实不是没有 ly 的长相，只是它加上 ly 了以后，意思会完全不一样。那还有哪些形容词也是这样呢？像是 late， it is late， 天色晚了，是当形容词用。I woke up late this morning， 我今天早上起晚了，是当作副词使用。那 fast 和形容词本来就有 ly 的 early 都是这种字哦。那我们要怎么辨认它是形容词还是副词呢？很简单，就看看它是拿来修饰名词还是修饰其他的词性。修饰名词就是当作形容词使用，那修饰其他词性的话，当然就是副词啦。好啦，希望你们都懂了，下次再一起找亮点咯。See you soon!
All right, that was our magic box for today. Let's continue on with the article. It goes on to say, she, Anne, also couldn't wait to go to school and make friends. If you can't wait to do something, it means you're really looking forward. You really want to do something in the future. So she's really smart. So of course she wants to go to school.
而且她也等不及去上学 can't wait 等不及交新的朋友 So how was her first day at school?
Well, it looks like it's not so good. The story says, sadly, Anne's first day at school was terrible.
Uh-oh.
Terrible, it's an adjective, and it means very bad or unpleasant. For example, Maria has a terrible cold. Maria has a terrible cold.
Terrible 在口语中很常用啦，比如我今天过得很糟 I had a terrible day 或是天气很糟 What terrible weather it is 意思就是糟糕的。你也可以看到例句说到 Maria 得到重感冒就是感觉很糟啦 But how come? Why was it terrible?
The story says she never went to school before, so she didn't know the rules. Yes, back then, children who lived in an orphanage, they often didn't go to school. They just had to stay at the orphanage.And the teacher scolded her for speaking without raising her hand. If somebody scolds you, it means they kind of yell at you or speak to you very harshly because they say you did something wrong. What did Anne do wrong? Well, she didn't raise her hand. You know, when you're in school and you have a question or something to say, you have to raise your hand to lift it up to a higher position, to put it up into the air.For example, the police officer raised her gun when she heard a strange noise. The police officer raised her gun when she heard a strange noise. Yes, Winnie, why are you raising your hand? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I don't want to get yelled for speaking without raising my hand.
No, only in school. Here you can speak freely. You don't have to raise your hand. We're working together. I'm not the teacher, you're not the student. But again, back then, the rules were very harsh. You had to do things by the rules.And if you didn't, you got scolded or you got in trouble.
原来因为他没有去上过学，所以有些规则他自然就不知道啦。结果老师就因为他没有讲话前举手，就骂了他。Raise 是举起、抬起 ，Raise your hand if you have a question。你最常听到老师的口头禅啦，意思就是若是你有问题，请举手。或是像例句中，警察一听到怪声，立刻举起他的枪。Oh, poor Anne. It wasn't really her fault.
No, she just didn't know the rules because she had never been to school before. The smartest boy in the class, Gilbert, teased her for answering incorrectly. If you tease somebody, it means you make fun of them. You kind of laugh at them and say, ha ha, you got the wrong answer.
Boys.
Nah, that kind of thing.And she answered incorrectly. That just means you did not do something correctly. You did not do it right, or your answer was wrong, in other words.
更惨的还有班上这个最聪明的男生 The smartest boy 就是这个最高级，还记得用法吗？所以这个很聪明的男生 Gilbert 还因为 Anne 答错嘲笑他 tease her, make fun of her. It's just not her day.
No, she is definitely having a terrible day, but she doesn't let it get her down. After that, Anne promised herself, I will be the best student.Matthew and Marilla will be proud. Wow, so she's really strong. She promised herself something. Promise is a verb, and it means to tell someone or tell yourself, you will certainly do something. For example, I promise not to tell anyone your secret. I promise not to tell anyone your secret.
哇 Anne 真的很正向她没有被击倒，反而向自己保证 Promise 是动词，意思是承诺、保证。比如例句中说，我保证不会跟别人说你的秘密。I promise I won't tell anyone that you ate the boss's pizza.
Yeah, let's keep that to ourselves. Let's not tell anybody that.
So what did she promise herself?
Well, she promised herself that she was going to make Matthew and Marilla proud. Now, proud is an adjective, and it's a feeling of pleasure or satisfaction because you or people connected with you have done something or got something good. For example, I'm proud to have such a cool mom.
Wow.
I'm proud to have such a cool mom.
所以我们看到这句啊 Matthew 和 Marilla will be proud. Proud 意思是感到光荣的、骄傲的，就是 Anne 要让 Matthew 和 Marilla 骄傲啦。They will be proud of her. 对她会感到骄傲。或是看到例句中的 be proud to do something. 我很骄傲有这么酷的妈妈。
Okay, so Anne sounds like a really cool girl, actually.
Yeah.
She had a really bad day at school.People were making fun of her. She didn't know the rules. She got scolded by the teacher, but she's not going to let this stop her. She's going to work really hard. She wants to become the best student in the school and make Matthew and Marilla.
It's almost too positive.
Yeah, she's almost, she's very positive person and very inspirational too. Is she going to be able to make this goal come true? We'll find out on the next program. Before we leave you today, though, let's have our wrap-up for the day. So today on the program, we saw how Anne was getting teased, or people were making fun of her. They were kind of bullying her, which that's what this means. If you bully somebody, it means you make fun of them because they're different or because they don't get the answers right in school.
Is it usually boys?
It's boys and girls.
Oh, okay.
Both. It can be both. Both boys and girls bully, unfortunately. But that's what our question is about today. Have you ever made fun of anybody, or have you been bullied in school?
Wow. It's really serious. I think I'm one of the lucky ones. I didn't meet any kinds of bullies in school, but I think I probably bullied someone when I was a kid.
Uh-oh, okay, so you were kind of the person that was making fun of somebody?
No, I didn't
teasing?
Punch anybody or I didn't make fun of people.
Okay, so it wasn't like that mean.
No, but I think I asked one of the rich boys to buy me drinks and snacks.
Okay.
But I never paid back.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not really like bullying.
No.
You were just kind of taking advantage, I guess. You saw this guy who had a lot of money.
Yeah.
Maybe he had some nice clothes. And
he likes to show off.
Oh, he liked to show off. Okay, so you said, okay, you can show off by buying me some milk tea or something.
Yeah.
You can go buy me a juice box or something like that.
What about you? Did you bully anyone?
No, I never bullied anyone. I was the one that got bullied when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
I was a little skinny kid, and sometimes kids would pick on me. But I was kind of like Anne, except a guy. I made sure that I didn't let it get me too down. I just wanted to show those bullies later on that I could kind of try to be successful and try to move on with my life. And that's the best thing that you can do. If people are bullying you, try not to let it get you too down. I know it's terrible and it's awful, but there are ways to get back at people without bullying them or without getting in fights and things like that. That's the lesson we've learned today from Anne of Green Gables. We'll have more lessons from this story tomorrow. Until next time, for A+ English, I'm Joe.
And I'm Winnie.
Goodbye.
Bye.
A+ 小聚会
Can you tell me how long the delay will be?
Can you tell me how long the delay will be?
Hello everyone, this is Winnie. 这周我们在学习飞机上实用的句型，大家都喜欢度假，我就特别喜欢搭飞机，不管长途啊、短途，就是让人很兴奋。不过飞机旅行最会令人感到沮丧的，应该就属误点了吧。应该出外旅游最怕就是遇到误点了，几十分钟内可能都还可以接受，若是遇到天候状况不佳，惨一点的误点一天的都有耶。误点的英文我们可以趁机学一下 delay D-E-L-A-Y。 除了飞机误点，一般火车也很常见。你会想要知道那到底会误点多久呢？ Let's look at today's sentence. Can you tell me how long the delay will be? Can you tell me how long the delay will be? 可以告诉我大概会耽搁多久吗？在这里 delay 当名词，不过 delay 自己本身也可以当动词哦。比如回答说，你可以说 The train will be delayed for 15 minutes, which means the train will be 15 minutes late. 另外也可以用这个字解释为什么误点啦。For example, the flight is delayed because of the bad weather. 班机因为天候状况不佳而延误了。所以啦，为了安排旅程，越早知道耽搁多久，就才可以及早挽救咯。我们就赶快再复习一次吧。Can you tell me how long the delay will be? Let's plan for the worst, but hope it won't happen. 希望你们出去玩的时候不会这么衰啦。Have a good trip and see you next time.
Can you tell me how long the delay will be?
Can you tell me how long the delay will be?
Welcome to Green Gables, Anne.
At first, Marilla wanted to send Anne back to the orphanage. However, after a few days, they decided to let her stay. Anne talked too much and told crazy stories, but she worked hard and learned quickly. She also couldn't wait to go to school and make friends. Sadly, Anne's first day at school was terrible. She never went to school before, so she didn't know the rules. The teacher scolded her for speaking without raising her hand. The smartest boy in the class, Gilbert, teased her for answering incorrectly. After that, Anne promised herself,
I will be the best student. Matthew and Marilla will be proud.
Terrible. Terrible. Maria has a terrible cold. Maria has a terrible cold. Raise. Raise. Raise, raised, raised. The police officer raised her gun when she heard a strange noise. The police officer raised her gun when she heard a strange noise. Promise. Promise. Promise, promised, promised. I promise not to tell anyone your secret. I promise not to tell anyone your secret. Proud. Proud. I'm proud to have such a cool mom. I'm proud to have such a cool mom.